Hello, I'm Isaac Murphy. I'm the 8th Governor of Arkansas, and I would like to talk to you about how my life has brought me to this point today that I am serving as your governor. I was born in Pennsylvania in 1799 and ended up through my studies that, by the way, I did have to learn on my own and did have to finance on my own. I learned to be an attorney and pass the Pennsylvania bar. But I decided that it was much more important to work as a teacher than as an attorney. So most of my time in Pennsylvania was spent as a teacher. And I left Pennsylvania in 1834, bound for Fayetteville, Arkansas. Now, before I tell you about my arrival in Fayetteville and what I've done from the time that I left Pennsylvania and came to Arkansas, tell you about meeting my wife. She was the daughter of a planter, and I am an abolitionist. I believe in the freedom of all men and that slavery is an absolute evil. Her father did not approve of me, and after we were married, he completely threw her out of the family and dropped her from his will, so that, again, we had to make our way on our own. And we came to Fayetteville in 1834, settled here 2 years before Arkansas statehood. My original intent, again, was to be an attorney, but I found teaching much more rewarding. I also became appointed to the board of the Far West Seminary, which was a school west of Fayetteville in a small community known as Mount Comfort. And for a time, that school thrived, and our goal was to make education available to all the citizens of Washington County, Arkansas, who chose to attend. Later, I got involved in Arkansas politics, and I ran afoul very quickly of the what was known as the family, the established government in central Arkansas, because I was representing the people here of northwestern Arkansas, the Fayetteville area, Washington County, Madison County, the people of Huntsville. I was first Washington County Treasurer, and then I moved on to serving in the lower House of Representatives. A commission was formed that would decide the secession of Arkansas, and I ran as a pro-unionist in the county of Madison. I was representing Madison and part of Benton counties. And I was elected to that commission and went to Little Rock in February of 1861. The convention met, and it was chaired by my dear friend from Fayetteville, David Walker. David had been the Chief Justice of the Arkansas Supreme Court at one time, and he was chosen to head the committee. So the convention decided that Arkansas would not leave the Union, but that we would put the decision of leaving the Union to a popular vote of the people in August. So I returned to Madison County secure in the idea that we would stay as a citizenry of Arkansas in the Union. We were called back in May of 1861 because of the events that happened in the firing of Fort Sumter in South Carolina. At this time, the delegates had changed their minds largely because an army was requested to be sent to quell the rebellion in the southern states, and Arkansas was expected to send some of its citizens. So the convention being recalled, the vote was 80 for secession and 5 against. And I was one of the 5 against. Well, my friend David Walker decided that, knowing that Arkansas was obviously going to go out of the Union, that we go unanimously. So he asked that the 5 of us who had voted no to remain with the Union to change our votes. 4 men did, but I chose not to change my vote. I was sent by the people that I represented to keep Arkansas in the Union. My heart was very Southern, but my heart was also pro-United States of America, not an individual state leaving the Union as in the state of Arkansas. So I voted no. And even though there were threats against my life, I stayed and worked on the new Arkansas Constitution and tried to help smooth things over as much as possible. I returned to Huntsville and then awaited whatever would come. What I saw was my prediction was correct in that war ravaged Arkansas, particularly the northwestern section of Arkansas. And after the Federal Army got far enough south that I took my family and we retired behind the Union lines, and I went to work for the Federal Army as a civilian and did various tasks for them in a civilian role as an attorney. Well, in 1863, I was asked to return to Arkansas and help in basically being the governor of the Union territories of Arkansas. And I chose not to do that until a new constitution was passed in Arkansas, which was in September of 1864, and I accepted the governorship. And I remained governor as the 8th governor, even though not freely elected by the people, as the Union-appointed governor. When the war came to a close and Arkansas had been devastated, my goal became one of rebuilding Arkansas. I saw to it as quickly as possible that my trusted friends, such as David Walker, were pardoned by President Johnson. And I worked diligently to get those pardons so these men that I knew and trusted could go back to work in government so we could reconstruct Arkansas. My main goal for the reconstructed Arkansas is to make public education a top priority, because I believe that an educated citizenry can only help themselves and can only help the state to become a much better place to live. I'm also currently working to try to get a land-grant college brought into Arkansas. We desire to establish a university that would be a land-grant institution here in the state of Arkansas. And as your governor, I promise you I will continue those efforts. I do, however, freely admit that I do not believe I will seek re-election when this term is over, because I feel there are more capable people to take my place, and I could see myself retiring happily to my farm in Huntsville and to a quiet law practice. But for now, we are doing all we can to see to it that our citizenry will become an educated and happy populace.